Venezuela's president offered the United States every resource that they had: gold, oil, rare earths. They offered to redirect Venezuela's oil from China to the United States. And America said, no, we're not interested. We're shutting off diplomatic relations. And right now, the US has sent 10,000 troops into the Caribbean, not too far from the coasts of Venezuela. Aside from those 10,000 troops, there are about 2,000 Marines, 4,500 sailors, there are 8 warships, 1 special ops, I believe, submarine vehicle, and of course there are 10 F-35s, and a few other pieces of heavy military equipment. To top it off, this year's Nobel Peace Prize winner, Maria Corina Machado, has dedicated her Peace Prize to America's president. So at the very least, this is a lot of momentum and a signal that no matter what Venezuela is willing to offer right now, America's president doesn't want Maduro in power. Now, the numbers I gave you about the military assets not too far from Venezuela, that isn't enough to launch a full-scale invasion of that country, and I don't think it's going to lead to that just yet. And while Maduro was talking tough before, we all saw he is ready to acquiesce everything just to stay in power, but that isn't good enough. I believe when the United States, if it actually happens, if they actually bring enough military force to easily overwhelm Venezuela, we will most likely see Maduro fly out of the country. Maybe he'll fly to Cuba, maybe Brazil, maybe Russia. We are witnessing an escalation. And now I have another idea, aside from the many I've mentioned in my previous posts, which I've attached here. Right now, the world, but especially Russia, is witnessing something happening to Venezuela similar to what happened to Ukraine when Russia was building up all of their troops along Ukraine's border and then the eventual invasion. Now, the thing is, Ukraine is pretty important to NATO, but they are nowhere near as vital to NATO as Venezuela is to Russia. And now Putin is watching his pet baby in Latin America face a huge military buildup that Russia will not be able to do anything against. They tried making those bold NATO incursions to try to distract the United States, but it's not enough. Now, the funny thing is, the people who are very pro-Russia like to say, well, America, they couldn't win in Iraq, they couldn't win in Vietnam, they couldn't win in Afghanistan. Remember that the United States took the capital of each of the countries that they chose to invade. What they failed to do was build a lasting democracy. But conquering was easy. Remember, the United States did this to countries that are across the globe. But Russia can't even conquer a country that was right next to them and significantly smaller. If the United States decided to attack Venezuela within a week, maybe 2 weeks, everything would be in ruin. But like I said in the beginning of this post, that won't happen. Maduro will just flee. And for those of you who want to bring up the Bay of Pigs invasion in 1961, just remember that invasion was not approved by the United States president at the time, John Kennedy. He actually refused to send in reinforcements, and that's why it failed. If Kennedy decided to play ball with the Dulles brothers, then Cuba would have fallen back into American hands. But today, the United States faces no such obstacles. In fact, our president is the one who wants to crush Venezuela's government. But believe it or not, even after everything I've said, I still don't think the United States is actually going to invade the country. I think we are just gonna spook Maduro and he will flee, and that will be that. And then we will see what happens with the new Venezuelan government. That, of course, is more America-friendly. And it would come as no surprise to me that once Maduro flees the country, half of the Venezuelan population or more, including the military, will cheer and celebrate. But I want to put this caveat. I think that the overall invasion or the ousting of Maduro could be avoided if Russia pulls out of Ukraine, or China and Russia both offer some incredible concession to the United States. Then I think this won't happen. Now, I know last year Urrutia won the Venezuelan election in 2024. At least that was internationally recognized. But of course, Venezuela is a corrupt regime, so Maduro said he won. But I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Machado became the leader of Venezuela, since she just dedicated her Nobel Peace Prize to our current president. Now, guys, watch the posts I've attached in the captions for better context on all of this, and thank you so much for watching.